All right. Welcome to our Selection Sunday special episode.
Yeah.
The selection committee is going to start putting out brackets right away, and we're going to be filling our bracket along as we go, and then look forward to us putting out a consensus bracket. Again, we'll also put out individual ones on the ESPN Tournament Challenge App, so make sure you go and add yourself into our group, see if you can beat us. We're going to come up with some kind of prize for the winner. It's going to be great, and just announced, Gonzaga is the #1 overall seed in the tournament.
So yeah, we're gonna hop right into this, start filling out this bracket as announced, and start talking matchups as the farther we gets on. So yeah, West Region, Gonzaga gonna be #1. I mean, very obvious. They're 26-0 and they've been dominant. Number 16 for the first 4 in. Wow, they're gonna go quick here.
Appalachian State.
Appalachian State.
Or Norfolk State.
Or Norfolk State. So that would be the first 4 game. App State or Norfolk. Man, they're gonna go quick.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry guys, it might be hard to get going here.
So we got Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's in at number 8 seed. They are at a 15-10 record this current year.
They had a lot of really big wins this year. I mean, they had these crazy runs, and then also then streaks of losses. So they're a very interesting team.
Ooh, they're gonna face number 9 Missouri at 16-9. That's gonna be a tough game.
Very similar.
They're a similar team this year.
Similar teams and similar seasons for them too. It's gonna be a very interesting matchup.
That's gonna be a hard one to pick back and forth there. Creighton at number 5, 20-8 this year. They're dangerous. Creighton's gonna be a team that could definitely make a run if they get hot.
They are a crazy offensive team.
Yeah.
I mean, they can score from anywhere. They have one of the best players in the country too.
UC Santa Barbara. They're 22-4 this year, and they got in at a 12 seed. It just proves that whatever, depending on what conference you're in, it really depends on what you can do.
Well, yeah, I mean, they clearly had a very small conference. I think for Conference USA or something like that along those lines.
Virginia number 4. And if you watched last week's episode, we did talk about Virginia and the top possible COVID implications. So It looks like they still got drafted. We don't have an update yet on what NCAA regulations are going to be on this.
Kansas is going to be in there too. They have to test. Both teams have to test 7 straight days without any positive tests in order for them to go. Which they'll have to go the next 7 days. They barely have any wiggle room on that.
So next 7 days straight, they're going to face number Ohio. All right, bottom West region, USC number 6, 22-7 this year. They're going to be a dangerous team too. I think you can easily overlook them.
Wichita State versus Drake.
And they're going to face either Wichita State or Drake University. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Drake's ever been in the tournament, or if it has, it's a very select amount of times.
Yeah, I'm sure it's small. Wichita State obviously is dangerous. They started to really come on towards the end of the season. I think they went 9-1 last 10 games.
Wow.
Kansas coming in at a 3 seed.
Ooh. That's interesting. How Kansas, the way they started the season. Oh my goodness, look at that. Hometown team, Eastern Washington Eagles.
Let's go Eags.
Go Eags. That's going to be a hard game to face. And you got Oregon at number 7 too, right afterward. Oregon's in. Man, they're going to go quick here.
They're cruising. It's hard to get.
They're cruising. VCU number 10. That's going to be a good matchup. That's going to be a really good matchup. I'm curious for that one to play out.
USC and Oregon both in this lower half of the region is interesting. They've played each other multiple times this year. I think 3 times.
Iowa at number 2.
Perfect. I like that for Gonzaga because we destroyed Iowa earlier in the year. So
yeah, let's get them out of the way. But I mean, they do have the potential Woodland Award winner this year, Grand Canyon. Man, I haven't heard that name into the NCAA bracket in a minute.
This is actually their first year in the tournament.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay,
this first year they qualified.
That makes a lot more sense.
I'm sticking on E because I'm pretty sure we're going down to the East region here. Or we might be going over to... All right. So it looks like we're going to be going to commercial break here on these guys. So let's kind of break down this part of the bracket here.
So let's go. I mean, first couple thoughts here. Oklahoma, Missouri game, Virginia, Ohio, and Oregon, VCU. Those 3 games are going to make or break a bracket right now in the terms of the West, in my opinion.
Really?
If you get those right, you might be looking good, or those are going to cause major upsets when you get farther in.
Oklahoma, Missouri is very interesting. Like I said, they had very similar seasons.
Yeah.
And when they're on, they're really on, but they're so hit or miss. I mean, earlier in the year, Missouri lost a game in the most dramatic fashion I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They also won games. Like, they came back from, like, 20 points down in a game. Then they, like, lost a 20-point lead, like, in the very next game. Like, they are super up and down. It's crazy.
Yeah, but we got to remember it's a college game. These are 18, 19-year-old kids, and, you know, if they can, mentally, they got to be on point. If they're not, then it's gonna be a tough ride in this championship.
Yeah. So actually, the one team that I'm looking that's going to probably the easiest upset, Wichita State. They've been playing so well to end the season. They'll beat Drake in the first four, which we'll put down here once we get there. But they'll come back. I think that they could beat USC. And then they'll go on to play Kansas more than likely, because I mean I went to Eastern Washington. I don't think we'll beat Kansas.
Yeah. Don't think that's gonna happen. As bad as Kansas started this season and how much difficulty they had in the first couple games, and they went unranked for a period of time as well.
Yes.
In the top 25. So that Kansas might be relieved that they got a smaller team to face. They're like, okay, let's get a good win, start off, get some momentum going forward. Let's not get our streakiness here.
Yeah, I think they clearly, lucked out getting the 3 seed. You have to remember the way that this works, because since Gonzaga is the number 1 overall seed, they get the worst of the others, of like the number 2 seed and number 3 seed. So Kansas just barely squeaked into the number 3 seed.
Right.
I really thought they were going to be a 4. So it's pretty interesting that they squeezed into that 3 spot there.
Yeah, got lucky there. But there's some good teams here. That's a good bracket. Even the smaller size teams, like the Eastern Washington, the Grand Canyon, the Appalachian State could even be a dangerous team. I don't think to Gonzaga in any way. If they were facing a different team except for Gonzaga,
right,
that's a potential upsetter, a bracket buster. But I like how the West looks so far.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm gonna go ahead and get these first 4.
Yeah, it's top season.
Real quick.
While we're waiting for the commercial break to end here, still, I'm gonna re-hit the ESPN Tournament Challenge, the app that you can use to make your bracket and compete, and then the ESPN stuff does their own prizes and whatnot, but we have a bracket for Herrbys Sports Talk, our special podcast. We have multiple people already joined and a bunch of brackets in there. So make sure you go to the Tournament Challenge, make a bracket, and then you can choose a joining group after your bracket has been made. And you just search Herrbys Sports Talk. You can select our group and compete against us and everybody else in the group. And winner of the bracket, we're going to come up with a nice special prize and kind of some type of deal. So if you want to have some fun and instead of just compete with your buddies and compete with a larger audience, check that group out on the app.
Absolutely. All right, so we are back from commercial break. Let's see what region we're going to be jumping over to. Looking at the South.
Okay, joining the South.
Baylor is the number 1 overall seed in
Baylor, not the one.
The one in the South, second. That means the number 2 overall seed overall. The South, I just want to make sure I'm in the right quadrant of the bracket.
Yeah.
Penciling these in. Only because I'm not using a pencil, I'm using Sharpie.
Top right.
Top right.
South.
That's what I thought.
So I'm going to switch your spots here, too.
Okay.
So we got Baylor in at 1. They will be facing Hartford.
All right.
Facing Hartford there. Okay, North Carolina in at 8 seed.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
That's a scary team if they get rolling.
Still one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country.
And it hasn't ever since.
Ooh.
Oh, that's going to be a dangerous game. North Carolina versus Wisconsin, and I'm looking forward to that one already.
That will be a fun game.
That's going to be dangerous. Villanova, 5 ranked, 16-6 this year. So
they did just lose one of their best players, if not the best player, in Gillespie. So we'll see how well they can recover from that.
But they're facing Winthrop, ranked 12, the 23-1, again, small division school, not even a Division I school. So they're probably going to be easy to win.
Purdue coming in at 4.
Purdue at 4. Man, that seems like a...
Versus North Texas.
North Texas at 13. Purdue's a team I'm really interested in to see how they perform.
Texas, man, we're cruising.
Yeah, they're going crazy. Good thing we have breaks in between regions to actually talk about some matchups here. So Texas Tech in at rank number 6. Who are they going to face here? There we go. Utah State for number 11. That could be an interesting matchup too.
Yeah, Utah State was one of those ones that were just on the bubble, and there's a good chance Utah State was one of the last 4 teams into the tournament.
And they got a rank 11. They just snuck in. A delicious matchup, somebody just said on here.
Texas Tech is an interesting team. Arkansas.
They've been playing good this year. The SEC basketball this year has popped off.
It has. Without
SEC
Kentucky. Without Kentucky.
And SEC in general, this entire sports, and all sports, SEC conference has been dominant.
I know.
It's been crazy.
Colgate.
Versus Colgate. They're 14-1. I mean, that's a low record for considering the amount of games played.
Yeah, they had
some
a
serious
lot of
COVID implications.
Yeah, not just for them, but other teams in their conference had a lot of breaks. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, that's a sold one for me.
Florida coming in at 7.
Florida 7. That's a potential dangerous team. That's good. It depends. They could easily lose round 1. I feel like. Let's see where they face, obviously, first. But they're gonna go with Virginia Tech.
Ooh, that Virginia Tech team is a little sneaky.
It's a sneaky team. I'm first.
I can see a 10-7 upset there.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, first impressions, I might be looking at upset.
Florida is still missing their best player in Keontae Johnson.
Number 2, Ohio State. There we go. And they just lost to.
They just lost to Illinois. They're literally still in the.
They're in the locker room. The game
watching.
they won it overtime. So
the Big Ten championship game literally ended, and this show started. Like they're the last game of the tournament season. Oral Roberts. Not gonna lie, never heard of the college to save my life. So. Well, they are a 15 seed. I don't think you're gonna have to worry too much about them pulling off an upset against Ohio State. Ohio State's a very good team.
Ohio State's a very good team. They're gonna be a top final Elite 8 more than likely, and majority of the hundreds of thousands of brackets submitted through the ESPN app.
Yeah. So
we're gonna break here again before we go to the next region. So let's take a look at the South here. What do you think, T?
This North Carolina-Wisconsin game should be really fun. North Carolina has obviously had a down year this year, but they're still one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
They have been for years. They are great recruiting just kids that are just big. They were big kids. They kind of are going like against the grain in terms of like a ton of shooting. They get a lot of big kids. That'll be fun. Wisconsin's a very good team. So that'll be a fun though. Florida Virginia Tech game is certainly an upset I could see happening pretty easily, actually. Virginia Tech's a sneaky good team.
Virginia Tech's a very big team too. They're tall, lengthy, and the majority of the ways. And Florida, I feel like in terms of overall, just the way their team is ran, it always seems like they're smaller size and a lot more athleticism type of guys.
Right.
So it might make for a really bad matchup personnel-wise, back and forth.
Could be. And other one out here that you could be looking at a 12-5 upset is this Winthrop Villanova. And Winthrop, they're a good team. It's certainly, but Villanova is just with losing their best player, who I think is the best player, Gillespie. It just it puts them in a bad spot, and they haven't played very well since he's been out.
Right.
They did lose pretty early in their conference tournament this year when they were expected to win.
Yeah, Villanova should have won there. So I mean, real quick question here. Between the half of the bracket being filled out here, your top seed upsets, number 1 bracket buster so far. What do you think?
Honestly, I'm just looking at what's there. It's going to be on this side. It's going to be Winthrop over Villanova. That's 12/5.
12/5 for bracket.
Wichita State over USC, which is 11/6.
So 2 potential big bracket busters there.
Yeah.
This one makes a lot more sense for people to actually choose Wichita State. That's something that I don't think the majority is going to be, it's all USC in on it. I think people are really hesitant about USC program currently.
Right.
So that one I could definitely see that, but the Winthrop would be a major upset to the majority of brackets, especially in the first round. That one's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, you can't count out USC completely because they do have one of the best players in the country in Evan Mobley. He'll be a top 5 draft pick guaranteed this summer. So, if he has a big game, he can carry this team.
Yeah. So we'll see here. We're just coming back from a commercial break.
Yeah,
we'll get into our next region.
Down to the region over here. Probably be the East region.
East and then West potentially. We'll see where we go.
We're in the West. It'd be the Midwest.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. So let's see where we're going next.
You're right. The March Madness does never get old.
Oh,
I mean, there's a thrill of
Everyone
gambling when you're doing the bracket here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Midwest here.
Illinois is the
No.
third overall seed, take the number 1 seed in the Midwest. Just came off beating Ohio State in overtime to win the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, put Ohio State down to the 2. So we're going to be in the bottom right as expected. Illinois number 1.
Still cutting down the nets.
They're still cutting down the net for the conference championship. He took his own little piece.
Don't they all do that?
I don't know.
Someone takes the whole net.
Drexel. They're 12-7, sneaking in at a 16 seed.
They won their tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like their 8th or 9th ranked team in their conference tournament.
I feel sorry they had to face Illinois in the first round.
That Illinois team's scary. I think that they are. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones in the national championship game on this side of the bracket.
Okay, that's a high calling from Tyler early on here. Loyola Chicago. They were in 24-4. They're in at an 8 seed this year. That might be an upsetting team to see who they get as a matchup here.
Georgia Tech.
Number 9, Georgia Tech. 17-8 as a record currently, or for this year. That's gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah, they just said they have not been in the tournament for 28 years. It's been since the mid-90s since they've made it.
That's crazy. Tennessee in at number 5 seed, 18-8 this year. Tennessee, I have a feeling they're gonna go against Oregon State as well.
Okay, that was a bid stealer. Oregon State. They were not expected to win the Pac-12 championship like they did.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma State in at number 4. Like I was saying though, the Tennessee team feels to me almost have an essence of the USC type of team.
Yeah,
a little more higher caliber, I think, but I think that in terms of what we can expect is either at the top of the level or really underplayed. And then Oklahoma State's going to face Liberty at 13.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Tennessee as a team. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I'm not sold on Tennessee as a team. Oklahoma State has the best player in the country in Cade Cunningham, so that's always somebody you have to watch out for.
San Diego State at number 6. That team is a team you always have to watch out for. San Diego State is always a solid team, always plays physical as well. Who are they going to match up against here? There we go. Syracuse.
Syracuse just made it in.
Number 11. They're 16-9 as a record.
Yep, Coach Boeheim going dancing again. Man, it feels like Syracuse has absolutely lived on the bubble for the last 5 years. That's all there ever is, right on the bubble.
It's been not the same Syracuse team as we've seen in history.
Right.
In recent years, it's definitely dropped off some. So, but I think San Diego can own that matchup pretty easily.
I really think this team can make a run. In part, they've won 14 in a row, and they've got tremendous players in Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackle leading the way. You want to talk legendary coaches?
Man, that was a break between the brackets that we had.
West Virginia, that team's scary good.
West Virginia ranked at a third seed. That's gonna be a dangerous one. 14 said Morehead State.
All right.
Morehead State 23-7 on the year. From the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Clemson in at 7.
Clemson number 7. Clemson Tigers.
9-1 start this season, 10 quad 1-2 wins.
They start off 9-1 to start the season, so they definitely dropped off some. Rutgers number 10. They're 15-11. That's an interesting matchup. It seems like both those teams definitely underperformed for what was expected of them this year.
Yeah, Rutgers is probably the lowest rated team out of the Big Ten to make it in.
Right.
They were pretty close to be on the bubble there.
Yeah. And Houston comes in
at number 2.
At the 2 seed. 24-3 this year. They had definitely a good season.
They score buckets.
They give buckets.
Against the Cleveland State Vikings.
Cleveland State Vikings, huh?
Tell you what, this is a 2-15 matchup, but both of these teams play exactly the same style. Extremely aggressive defensively. And with a lot of guys
So Midwest is complete. We got one more region to go. We'll have some time here to discuss what we think so far as we go to break before we hit the South region here.
Yeah, absolutely. This West Virginia team, it's not the West Virginia team that you're used to. It's not the press Virginia that it has been in the past. This team scores points. And their defense isn't great this year like it has been in the past, but they put up points on people.
Put up points on people, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we did Illinois. I mean, you were talking. You were saying.
I could see them in the championship game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean, I'm looking at the bracket who they're going to face. I mean, either Loyola, Chicago, Georgia Tech. They should easily handle that. Between these teams here, I mean, you're talking Oregon State and Oklahoma State could be a dangerous matchup potentially.
That Tennessee will be Oregon. Oregon State, like they came out of nowhere to win the Pac-12. They're not very good. That's an absolute bid steal. They wouldn't have made the tournament. They didn't win.
Okay, so Tennessee goes by. I mean, in my opinion, I'll take Oklahoma State over Tennessee in the second round.
Yeah, I think
that means you have Illinois and Oklahoma State here in the 3-16.
It'd be a fun matchup again. It'd be the best player in the country in Cade Cunningham. Kid's an absolute stud, and he's shown that he can take over games.
Right.
But Illinois might have the best guard big man combination in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
You have Ayu DeSomo and Kofi Coburn down low. Like they are amazing players. Ayu has turned himself into one of the top players in the country. More than likely going to be a lottery pick in the draft this year.
Yeah.
And Kofi Coburn, that is a dude.
He's a man.
Like, I mean, this guy doesn't get moved. For my money, he's probably the strongest guy in college basketball. I've seen people try to push him off the block, and you can't.
You just can't.
In the Big Ten championship game, just before this started, they double teamed in the block, and both guys were trying to push him out of the block, and he wasn't budging. This dude is strong.
I mean, when it comes to, again, we got to remember, all these guys are 18, 19, 20 years old. And so you have a guy who's 19 and he's a cinder block down there at the post. And you're talking how many games you're playing in a row trying to make that push, that tournament rush. And you're playing consecutive games, back-to-back games. You're playing high-level talent the entire way down. So a team that can be physical and can take a beating and have strong guys like that is a team that's always going to be dangerous in the tournament.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the crazy thing, like, the one thing that you always have to keep in mind with the tournament is that the teams that go the deepest, they have senior letting guards almost all the time. Or it's like crazy freshmen like you see in Duke and Kentucky most years. But teams, think about like, especially we had the two different Connecticut teams. One with Kemba Walker and one with Shabazz Napier.
Yeah.
Both go win the championship based strictly off of those two players going off for the entire tournament.
Went off, absolutely caught fire and just was smoking teams.
Yeah.
So that's all it takes. And between some of the top seeds here, you got some guards that can play and get buckets.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, from Illinois to Gonzaga to Baylor to even Houston down at the bottom here. I mean, you have these senior-led guards that are talented as hell.
Yeah, Arkansas is in that same boat. Arkansas puts up buckets too. It's crazy. There's gonna be a lot of scoring. And I will say there's one note I have on just my overall feeling on this year's tournament. I think it's gonna be very chalky. I don't see a lot of upsets happening. Unfortunately, I think it's just the weirdness of this season has made it so like some of these teams are just not ready to pull off like these major upsets.
Right.
There's gonna be a few, obviously, but nothing major.
And here we go. We're going to our last region here. Yep. Michigan's coming in at the number 4 overall seed, number 1 seed in the South. Correct?
This is the East.
The East, excuse me. I don't know my regions apparently. Michigan number 1, the 24 this year. That's gonna be a team that can make a run.
It's a really good team.
And then we have our first 4 matchup: Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern. We'll battle that out, see who they can go face Michigan.
There's a lot of.
That's a big old name to get in there. Here we go. Let's go on to the next here. They slowed down as the regions got farther in.
I know. LSU in the 8 seed.
LSU number 8. That's an interesting team. I'm wishy-washy on how I feel about them.
Yeah, I mean they pushed Alabama to the brink in the SEC championship game today. They have some really good shooters. They have a couple of really good prospects on that team too. They couldn't. I don't know if they can necessarily make a run, but depending on who they play in this first round, St. Bonavarte, I could see them destroying that one.
Yeah. I believe I saw something earlier about the St. Bonavarte. It's the first time they've been in the tournament in over a decade, if not longer. I don't remember the exact time. I did see something about earlier.
Colorado coming in with a 5 seed then.
Colorado 5 seed. There we go. I like the Colorado team. I think people are going to overlook them, and they're going to be a little underrated this year.
Georgetown, another bid stealer out of the Big East.
It's 13-12 this year, coming out of the 12th seed.
The way the Hoyas rolled through the Big East tournament in New York, they
See what they
And he's
say.
calling for Georgetown over Colorado upset. I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. Georgetown, like I said, barely got on, but they can continue to play hot like they have been.
We'll
Certainly got a
see.
chance.
Florida State, number 4. Florida State's a team that I think is extremely dangerous. They're a team that could, if they get into the Sweet 16 Elite 8, they can make some of those big number 1, number 2 seeded upsets, I believe.
Yeah, and Leonard Hamilton puts his team in the Sweet 16 almost every year.
Yeah.
It's like they're always there.
And they're always, like I said, they're always tall and lengthy, and they are defensive as hell.
UNC Greensboro.
So pretty say that Florida State takes that game. And we got BYU coming in at number 6.
All right.
BYU's another team that could make some waves in this tournament.
6 seed's a pretty good seed for them.
It is.
It's one of the higher seeds they've had in quite some time.
They're gonna make some waves. They could definitely pull off some upsets here.
Ooh, but they got
Ooh,
Michigan
that's
State versus UCLA playing game. Michigan State's been lights out recently.
I mean, both of those teams you cannot underrate. You cannot take either of those teams lightly, depending on which one that BYU faces. So, and that would be our 4th and final first 4 matchup.
Yep, that's a very interesting one. Michigan State versus UCLA.
That's gonna be a good game to watch in general.
Absolutely.
BYU might have a tough first game ahead of them here. Let's see, we got 6 more teams to get through here.
Yep.
Texas, go Longhorns.
This is a team that they can be so good sometimes and so infuriating other times.
Yeah.
It's really hard
They're
to
gonna
watch.
face another Texas team, Abilene Christian.
To Lucas Oil State. They will play the Wildcats of Abilene Christian out of the Southland Conference. Ran away from Nichols 79.
Out of the Southland Conference. That's gonna be an interesting team. UConn coming at number 7. UConn's a team I feel like has been quiet this year. Even at a 7 seed, 15-7 record, they've been quiet.
They have a
on the
great
radar.
guard this year as they did in those previous years with James Booknight, so that could be an interesting team.
They got Maryland as a 10th seeded matchup. Maryland went 16-13. Oh, on the next, Alabama, 24-6.
That Alabama team is really good.
Yeah, that team's dangerous. That team is extremely dangerous.
No longer just a football school.
No, like I said, SEC as a whole, as a conference, has been killing it this year in all sports. They're facing Iona.
Rick Pitino, Iona coach team. Rick Pitino, fun fact, is only the 3rd coach, I believe they said was, to now get 5 different teams in the tournament.
I mean, he's a legend.
It is.
Conference in multiple bids. Big 10 had 9. Big 12 had 7. The ACC had 7. Southern Eastern 6. Man,
Pac-12 5. I thought the Big 10 would get 8 in. I was kind of surprised they got 9. I think Maryland was one that squeezed in there right at the end.
squeezed in there.
I thought Maryland would be out. Either them or Rutgers would be kind of left.
Okay, so we got first 4 out teams on standby. We got Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, and Ole Miss.
And they're calling them replacement teams. So it sounds like if there's teams that are unable to start in the tournament, they could be replaced by one of these teams.
Yeah, and Louisville and Colorado State are dangerous teams that could hop in there, depending on who they face. I don't think they hop in, and beat like a number 1, 2, 3 seeded team. They'd hop in and face like a number 6 BYU. That's it. That could be a potential upset right there.
The thing is, like, Louisville is a very odd team. They lost by almost close to 50 points earlier this year, and then they gone through and then they whooped up on North Carolina. They're a very confusing team.
So here we go. Last 4 in 2: Michigan State, UCLA, Wichita State, and Drake.
Which makes sense. Those are your playing games.
Yeah, 2 of your first 4 in playing games.
And then Louisville, Colorado State, St. Louis, and Ole Miss are your first 4 out, and your first replacement teams.
So that makes sense here.
Interesting. They're looking over their net rankings right now. It's interesting that Michigan State and Wichita State made it in at net rankings of 70-72 versus all 4 teams that were the first 4 out were all in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. So they definitely snuck in somehow, won a bid. I mean, you're talking a net that's not even close to helping that.
Well, it's part of that comes from reputation, and and they look at those quad 1 and quad 2 wins. You have to have wins against bigger teams, and they'll look elsewhere or otherwise at that if you're beating the bigger teams and the better teams in general. All right, so
man, they flew through that bracket. So let's kind of
let's
do an overview here of what we think. if we want to, go region by region real quick.
Well, let's first jump in here to the East because we haven't been able to talk about it yet. So we got Michigan number 1. Was surprising or not? I'm sorry, it was not surprising. Pretty expected stuff there. Looking through this, I mean, this seems pretty chalky to me. I could see Michigan State upsetting BYU, but that BYU team is better than what people
give credit
for.
Yeah, agreed.
So this one looks like, at least in the first round, they're talking about maybe Georgetown if it stays hot, but I don't have a lot of faith in Georgetown doing that.
Yeah, I don't.
This one looks pretty straightforward to me on that.
It does, yeah. I don't see many upsets here. I definitely take Colorado over Georgetown. The one team I look at, not for upsets, just to smoke people, is Alabama. And I say that because if you look at Alabama up until the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 bracket here, the potential matchups they're facing and teams of a caliber at their level is not even close. You're talking a team that could potentially get there, that could maybe give an upset, is potentially Texas, but that wouldn't be until the Sweet 16. Outside of Texas, you're looking at a Florida State team that wouldn't face until the Elite 8 matchup. So Alabama looks like they might have a real easy roll into the Elite 8 here.
They should. I mean, Iona, I know they're coached by a legend, but this Alabama team is just really damn good.
Yeah.
Moving over to UConn again. Maybe they have another, crazy senior. They have James Bouknight, who's a senior-led guard on that team, who's a very good player, and if maybe he'll just follow in the path of Kemba and Shabazz, and
just put his name in the record books of UConn.
Yeah, it'd be crazy because if you saw a third UConn guard do the same thing.
It would be a sight to see. I mean, those are some of the best college basketball years in memory of watching Kemba take that step back in the Big Ten championship,
the Big East
championship, excuse me, and drill that, and then just roll through the March Madness tournament. It was insane,
for sure. So let's go ahead and obviously we're gonna give you guys a consensus bracket here shortly, but I don't know, just if we're going in a little bit here, what are you seeing for your final 4 teams right now? Just at first glance.
At first glance, I take Alabama. I know that for sure out of the East here.
Bama over Michigan, huh?
Yeah, they're running hot. I think they can be bigger. They can be more physical and faster at the point of attack.
Okay.
I think it's just the physicality of the team and just the way they're going to run through to the Elite 8. I think they're going to have more momentum going through. Where Michigan looks like they have a little bit harder of a slate to get to the Elite 8, to get that matchup to bounce to the Final Four. So Alabama, I think first look down there in the East, looks like a team that could easily move through. In the Midwest here, I agree with you with Illinois. There's not many teams that can. Houston, I mean, again, they're top seed, but they're not on the same level as Illinois State. So Illinois, I think, is an easy take here.
I think just to go on, I do agree. I think Illinois will be there, but I'm pretty sure I have a feeling they're going to meet West Virginia in that Elite 8, and it's going to be a hell of a game to watch.
Well, I mean, even West Virginia, even San Diego State might be a team in that Elite 8. I mean, San Diego State will have to beat West Virginia to get there in the first place, but we'll see.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that West Virginia ended up as a 3 seed. I thought they were going to come in as a 2.
So, but we will see. Unbeaten NCAA tournament since.
Yeah, Gonzaga is only the 5th team since 1976, which is the last time an undefeated team won the championship. They're the 5th team to make it into the tournament undefeated, and they have.
And did they deserve it too, though?
Oh yeah, I mean they went 26-0, and they only in those 26 wins, 25 of them came by double digits.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's certainly deserving. The interesting note about that, and they talk about how the other teams didn't win the championship. Since 76, the bracket was only 32 teams. It's expanded. There's 2 extra rounds now.
Yeah.
And that makes it just that much harder to go and run the slate through the entire tournament.
Yeah.
It makes it very, very challenging.
It does, agreed. Let me finish this real quick, though. So, yeah, I take Alabama here for first 4. Illinois here for Final 4, excuse me.
Okay.
Those 2 going up into the South here, correct?
Yes, South.
This one's a harder one. I mean, there's some teams that you could look at and be like, yes, but there's also some wishy-washy teams here. I probably have to take Baylor because these other teams I'm looking at, I don't believe 100% in Ohio State. I think they're going to hit one of these Florida teams or Utah, Texas Tech towards the Elite 8 or Sweet 16. That might be a dangerous upset.
Could be. Ohio State's really good. I mean, they balled out against Illinois.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'll probably lean Baylor. If I did it, it would be Ohio State as a second one. And then over here on the west side, Virginia maybe, but who knows what's going to happen with the COVID implications itself.
We smoked Virginia earlier, so no.
Yeah.
Get Virginia out
I mean, I do take on Gonzaga. I mean, hometown team, but they're a level of caliber that Mark Few. His teams have always had a huge caliber level and consistent winning.
It's a different level.
This year's different. Everybody who watches Gonzaga can say that team is not the same years as teams past.
Yeah.
Say it again, please.
Hey,
Shut up, Siri. Excuse me.
Yeah, so
Sorry about that. So, Creighton team in the West, though, is a team I need to watch. We need to watch out when they face Gonzaga because that will be a Sweet 16 matchup as far as I can see here. Maybe Elite Eight, I can't tell.
Maybe a Sweet 16.
So that's gonna be a dangerous team. But those are my final four first impressions.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of go that. I mean, I got Gonzaga for sure. Personally, I think Gonzaga's winning. I'm just gonna put that out. I think Gonzaga's gonna win this tournament.
Okay.
I think they are the best team in the country. They are historically one of the best offensive teams ever.
Yeah, agreed.
Ken Palm, based off Ken Palm's rankings, they've been doing it for about 20 years, and
Right.
it's kind of the go-to for like overall offensive and defensive stats. That's just used by most people now. It's as a very reliable source. If you haven't looked at it, go to Ken Palm. You can use that to help make a lot of picks here because you'd be surprised what happens. So personally, yeah, like I said, I got Gonzaga win the whole thing this year.
Okay.
I just think they are. I could see Alabama getting to the Final Four over Michigan, but that Michigan team is really good.
Okay.
I know they had a couple of letdowns this year where they looked like crap, and that could obviously happen. Even in the tournament, not everyone plays their best ball every game.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's the nature of the beast.
And they haven't necessarily shown yet this year that when they play poorly, that they're able to turn around mid-game to then come back and win. So it's one of those things that'd be interesting to see. Over here, you said you're not sure about Ohio State. I think Ohio State could absolutely make the Final Four, no doubt in my mind. But that Baylor team, they're really good. I know it seems like they're still kind of recovering from that COVID break they had just a couple weeks ago. They're only a few games in, lost pretty early in the Big 12 tournament, but that Baylor team, like I said, they're killer.
Yeah.
They're so good everywhere. They're such a good defensive team and offensive. So I think I'm gonna have Baylor coming out of the South.
Okay.
And down here, I gotta stick with Illinois again. I think Illinois has the best 1-2 combo, guard big man combo in the nation.
Yeah. So we're not too far out of consensus here.
Yeah.
So like we said, we're gonna make a consensus bracket here.
Yeah.
For
sure.
We're gonna jump into this, and again, if you're following us on the tournament challenge, we will have individual brackets on the app itself because we want to compete against each other as well.
Right.
But for overall, see how we do combined as a team here. We're gonna consensus our picks here down into our championship right now.
We will, and also we're going to. I'll make a secondary bracket that is our consensus bracket and put it in the tournament challenge too, so you'll be able to keep track specifically on the point system there.
Yeah, and then on the app real quick too, just so you know, we go by in the intro as Big Herbie, Little Herbie. So our brackets individually be under Big Herbie and Little Herbie, and then we'll have one that says consensus bracket.
Yeah, probably Herbie's consensus, some of them on those lines.
that'll match this one. So let's go through and let's start picking matchups here and run through this thing.
Okay. So we'll see where these fights come into play.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
All right.
Brotherly's fight here.
All right, so let's start with the first one here, Gonzaga. We don't have to talk about it. It's Gonzaga.
Let's throw Gonzaga in there pretty quick here.
All right. So interestingly enough, we're doing this right off the top of our head right here with very little
usually
deep dive into some of these teams. So some of these games we are kind of going just off of heart right now on this.
Yeah, obviously if you do it through the tournament challenge, you can look at all the stats, the comparisons, what people's thoughts are. We're going it right off the rip here.
Yeah.
I mean, literally doing this live from announcement, so we don't have all the extra stats and stuff to be able to look at this.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma and Missouri here.
Oklahoma, Missouri. So, like I said, Missouri is one of those. They both have very odd seasons where they can be really good.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma takes this because they'll have the best player on the floor in Reeves, who's the lead player on Oklahoma.
Okay.
He's very good. He always seems to make the right play and is always in the right spot. So it'll be very interesting to see. But I think Oklahoma takes that.
Okay, I'll agree with you on Oklahoma. I'm not sold on Missouri. I think they're too up and down. I think they have the potential talent to get to there, but I don't think they have enough to get over Oklahoma right now. And then Creighton, UC Santa Barbara, I think that's a solidified Creighton is going to dominate that game.
Yeah, Creighton's a really good team. They're good offensively, as they almost always are.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that Creighton should take this pretty easily.
Okay, Virginia, Ohio.
Yes.
Again, I think we both lean Virginia pretty easily here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of the ones I would like to be able to jump in and get a little more in depth on because I don't know enough about this Ohio team. You know, since we're on it, might as well jump into the tournament challenge. The bracket's is up there and it's loaded. I'm gonna
That's true.
take a look at this real quick.
Pull a quick bracket up here. We'll take a look. So, I lean personally Virginia. I know there might be some bracket mythbusters out here that want to take Ohio based on somewhat random BPI type of stat line. But I think overall Virginia has a more experienced team and has a bit of leadership team.
Agreed.
And I take that all day long.
Apparently the bracket challenge isn't up yet.
He's lying to everybody.
It didn't give it to me. I thought that they'd have it updated already, but apparently they're going to need a little bit of time. It does show that there's 0 days left before the bracket is revealed, but I can't jump into it here.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll go with Virginia. Obviously, that's hopefully they get into the tournament.
Right.
If they don't and they get replaced by, if they're the first team out, that'd be Louisville. This could change the entire makeup of this game. But yeah, we'll go ahead. Let's get Virginia in there, just because I'm unsure.
We're unsure at the moment. And then the next one here is an interesting one because it's one of the first 4 matchups and then the actual game. But I think, are we consistent that Wichita State beats Drake?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Wichita State versus USC then. We already kind of mentioned that we're not really sold on USC. We can easily see Wichita State being a bracket upset. Are we going upset on this one? Because I want to lean Wichita State here.
I actually do too. I think it's an 11/6. I think Wichita State is playing their best ball right now. Mm-hmm. I think they will take this game from USC.
Okay, yeah, it's our first technical upset. But yeah, let's take Wichita State here. And then we got Kansas versus Eastern Washington University. Again, EWU, go Eags, or a hometown.
Yeah.
Hometown to us, but they're just, they're the best they've played in their history of college basketball.
It is. It's only the 3rd time they've ever been to the tournament.
It's the best team they've ever.
And they finished the season, including conference tournament play, I think going like 12-1. So they're a very good team, but this Kansas team, even on their worst day, it's probably better than this Eastern Washington team.
That's too much of an upset for us to take, so we're taking Kansas here. We got Oregon versus VCU.
This Oregon team is very interesting. So Oregon, about mid-season, looked like there was no chance they were making the tournament, and they did. They went on and won. They won like 9 in a row.
Right.
And all of a sudden, looked really good. But I don't know how well you can bank on them. VCU's a hard-nosed team. I can see an upset here. I don't know which way you kind of leaning.
I lean based on momentum. We see in NFL playoffs. You see in this. You come in hot and you're on a good roll. Usually that plays benefit to you in majority of times.
Okay.
So I'll lean Oregon based on they're coming into the tournament with a positive momentum on their side.
Okay. And yeah, that's fair. And like I said, earlier today. During this episode, I see this bracket being very chalky. There's not going to be a lot of upsets. I think you're going to see that in this consensus bracket.
Yep.
All right, we got Oregon moving forward.
Oregon's in, all right.
And Iowa versus GCU, Grand Canyon University.
I think it's obvious Iowa sweeps this one.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple. Luka Garza is more than likely winning the Wooden Award this year. The dude goes off for 30 almost every night. Like, he'd go for 30 and 15 anytime he wants.
Yeah, absolutely insane. So let's take Iowa over Grand Canyon, and that'll solidify our first round of the West here.
Yep, let's go ahead and let's keep moving down this side.
Moving down, okay, let's do it. So we got Michigan
versus Mount St. Mary's or Texas Southern on the playing game. It doesn't matter in this one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Michigan's obviously going to move on pretty easily. Sorry about that.
If you can hear the dogs in the background, that was my fault. I literally elbowed the wall here.
Then we got LSU versus St. Bonaventure. Is that correct?
Yeah, Bonaventure.
Bonaventure.
The Bonnies.
Bonds.
Ray Bonds.
Again, this one should be a quick matchup. LSU.
Yeah.
Should take this one.
I'm not going to discuss that one too much.
Nope.
LSU's a good team. They're streaky, but they're not that.
They're not that. So let's talk about this. Everybody's picking Georgetown over Colorado here as a bracket buster.
Right. They brought that up almost immediately. He likes the way that Patrick Ewing has that team playing. I'm not sold on Georgetown.
Neither am I. I'm not as well. I think Colorado's a really underrated team this year. They came in, I believe it was a 5 seed.
5 seed here, yeah. This is a 5-12 matchup.
A 5-12. I mean, I get Colorado or Georgetown could, they have some pedigree in the tournament, and they've had some good players come out of there. In fact, it might be getting the program on a good footing, but I think Colorado is extremely underrated.
Okay. Yeah, I can certainly see that. I don't see that happening this year. I don't see it. Maybe Georgetown gets better. Honestly, he's had a hell of a time recruiting since he's been there. And then like his best player he had last year, Mac McClung, transferred to Texas Tech this year, and has been the lead guard on that team and been a star for them so far this year. So. I don't see Patrick Ewing being able to pull this one off.
And then real quick here, so Clark just put his Final Four predictions out just like we did initially. He's got Gonzaga from the West, Texas from the East, Baylor from the South, and Illinois from the Midwest.
He's got Texas coming out.
So 3 of us are correct. He had Texas coming out.
And he has Gonzaga and Illinois in the national championship game.
Gonzaga winning. There we go.
Yes. So I like Clark.
So outside of Texas, we were all kind of on a similar playing field here.
My issue
thinking?
My issue with Texas is when they're hitting, like they're great 3-point shooters when they're hitting, but when they're not hitting, they are terrible. They can't get to the inside. It's interesting to see. So let's go to Seth is coming out with his Final Four. He has Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and Illinois.
So that's exactly what I was choosing.
Yep, with Gonzaga beating Illinois in the national championship. So they're going with the same.
So we're all kind of on similar matchups here.
Yep, we are. So that's very interesting. That's Seth Greenberg. With those. Be interesting to see how that turns out. I feel like you're going to see most people picking Gonzaga to win it because I think most people feel like they are just the best team in the country this year, as we do.
As agreed. So let's move on here. Florida State, UNC Greensboro. I think we're probably easy consensus. Florida State takes that game.
Yeah, for sure. Florida State's a good team. Like we said, Leonard Hamilton always has his team playing well in the tournament.
Right.
I don't know what he does when he gets them going when it comes to tournament time.
That's cool with me. If they're on a roll, they're on a roll. Take the momentum on their side. Let's go to the next game. We got Michigan State, UCLA for the first 4 kind of play-in. Mm-hmm. For either one versus BYU again, we both said BYU is an underrated team. They're hot. They're better than what people think. But that's going to be a tough matchup for either of those teams. BYU versus either Michigan State or UCLA.
Yeah, I think Michigan State ends up beating UCLA in that first 4 matchup. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be BYU versus Michigan State.
Okay.
But I do believe that BYU takes that. Yeah. The interesting thing about BYU is that as the season has come along, they've gotten better. Mark Rose is their coach. He's solidified their rotation a little more. A couple of young freshmen have come in and really started to play really well. It's pretty interesting to see them. And the second that he started to give them more playing time, the team changed.
Okay.
So I like BYU there.
I like BYU as well. That's gonna be a spot for I think some people might take upsets on because I think they just don't really understand how BYU is how good they actually are right now.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
So then we got Texas versus Abilene Christian. This should be an easy Texas win.
Texas should unless Texas would have to shoot really, really poorly for them to lose this game, which they certainly can.
It's possible. Yep.
I've seen them go ice cold. It's very interesting the way that they play. It's like they're either there or they're not.
They're there, they're not, right. UConn, Maryland.
Maryland squeaked into this tournament. Yeah. They were in the last 4 or 8 teams in. UConn, I think James Bouknight is going to be the guy that leads this team a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do a Kemba Walker impersonation, but he's going to at least get the past Maryland.
Agreed. Yeah, we take your senior leaderships in bigger games like this.
For sure.
Then Alabama, I picked them for a Final Four. Let's just move on. And Alabama's going to roll on Iowa.
For sure. Love Rick Pitino. I love that he's back in the tournament after his scandal and it kind of a bit of a redemption process for him. So it's cool that he's able to do that. But that Alabama team is really good, and Iowa just doesn't have the players to keep up.
Agreed. So let's go over to the South and Midwest here.
And we'll swap.
We'll swap situations here.
We should put in a music thing right there.
Just we're walking across all cool.
All right, so let's go to the South. We have Baylor, Hartford. That's really not a question.
Should be an easy win for Baylor.
We're not going to see a 16-1 this year, guys. Okay.
No, yeah.
We went 100 years before it ever happened. It's probably going to happen for another 100.
Maybe another 100. Agreed upon. So Baylor's going to take that. This next game is going to be it could be upstairs. North Carolina, Wisconsin.
Both, very interesting. They're both lower seeded because they had not the best seasons.
I believe they're an 8-9 seed.
It is an 8-9, yeah. It's a very interesting matchup. They both had down years comparatively, but they're still both the same type of teams. And if they can, they're very good at they're both very good at one thing. Like North Carolina is really good at offensive rebounding. They can, if they can stay on the offensive glass, they could stay around in any game. When especially in a game even against Baylor. Baylor's not the biggest of teams. They're very good defensively, but they're kind of small. They're not a great rebounding team.
Right.
So that kind of offensive rebound could actually keep North Carolina in a game with Baylor.
So you lean North Carolina over Wisconsin then?
I'm not.
Okay, I was like, you're hyping this up right now.
I was just saying, I could see that because they have that. They're so good at that, but I think Wisconsin takes this game.
Okay. Why do you think that? Because I'm torn. I'm not sold on that one yet.
I think Wisconsin's just the better overall team. They're more well-rounded.
The issue I have with Wisconsin is, when it comes to leadership, I take Roy Williams and his amount of pedigree and prowess he has in terms of experience in this tournament. And I don't know exactly what Wisconsin's coach is, but I know his pedigree ain't going to be the same where Roy Williams is. I know that one for sure.
The only guy in college basketball that has a resume better than Roy Williams is Coach K.
Coach K, exactly. So that one I'm torn on. We might have to come back to that one to fill that in because I'm not sold on Wisconsin.
Okay, well, we'll duke it out. So let's move on and see what happens. Okay, Villanova Winthrop. I already tagged this earlier that as a potential upset with Gillespie being out.
Right.
He's done for the season, which sucks. He had a torn ACL. I wish I knew a little bit more about Winthrop because I think they could pull us upset. I don't know if I have the balls to write it down though.
I think Villanova's going to get upset, just not in round one.
Okay.
I think in round two here, depending on who they face, Purdue
but that's not actually an upset. Purdue's the 4 seed, Villanova's the 5.
I mean, I guess that's true, but Villanova has just kind of sense about them that they're, they could have been a 1, 2, 3 seed if the record was better.
Right. I mean, they had a long pause at the very beginning. They didn't play a game for the first month of the season because of COVID.
Yeah, I take Villanova over Winthrop. I don't think they make it far in the tournament.
Okay.
With Gillespie being out, but I think first round, I think they'll get it done.
Okay. I'll take Nova with you here. I'm just saying, in my own bracket, when I get a little more research put in, I might pick Winthrop.
Okay.
Just put it out there.
I guess we'll see here. And Purdue or North Texas. I mean, we kind of mentioned already, leading Purdue here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know the crazy thing, Purdue, I was shocked when I saw that they were a 4 seed, only because I feel like I haven't seen a damn thing from Purdue all season.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a second of any of their games, so I'm not the most well-educated on either of these teams. So I guess I'm going to just go with the chalk, take Purdue, because he's a 4 over 13.
Okay, I agree. I don't think North Texas has any type of star-studded talent to pull an upset off, so I agree with you there. Texas Tech and Ohio State.
Utah State. Ohio State's down below.
Oh, my bad. Utah State. My fault. What are you leading here? That's an interesting matchup.
I'm going Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I mean, they had some of the best games in the Big 12 this year. They know how to win tight. They pulled out a lot of close games. They played in a lot of close games. Utah State, I just don't think they don't got the guys to stick with this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Texas Tech's athleticism is trumps Ohio State. Holy crap, Utah State. My God. I'll take Texas Tech with you.
All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just pencil Arkansas State as we go because that's just not happening, Colgate.
Colgate, we sorry. We're glad you made the tournament, but...
I like your toothpaste, but...
Oh, good God. We did not just... Tyler, you can't go Shia LaBeouf last episode and toothpaste the next one. That's too... too much.
You're the father in this group. You're supposed to be one handed down.
I know. And we got Florida and Virginia Tech next here.
This is an interesting matchup. I think I'm leaning towards Virginia Tech here, which I don't know. I just Florida was really good. I thought they were gonna be very good at the beginning of the season. We talked about pretty in depth of when Keontae Johnson collapsed on the court early in the season. He hasn't back. He's on the sideline now as a kind of a player coach, but he's not playing still. And he is their best player, kind of the heart and soul of that team. So it's nice that he's on the bench because that helps them. I just don't know if they're gonna be able to put a good enough game together to beat Virginia Tech team.
No, I agree with you. I'll take Virginia Tech over Florida here.
All right, so far we're only fighting over one damn game.
So far, which I mean, you gotta get. This is the round of 64 here. These should be easier matchups to pick. It'll get a lot harder as we get into the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games for us to fully agree on teams.
That's true.
So Iowa State, Oral Roberts. Do we even need to discuss?
No.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on.
We're moving on.
All right. And then go down Illinois Drexel. It's Illinois. Don't if you want to try to get cute, don't do it with that game.
Don't go for the 116 matchup in that game, okay?
Don't do it in any of the games.
Or any of them that matter, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't. I'm sure just because it's the tournament, a 13 seed will win because they almost always do.
Yeah, that's true.
But I find it pretty hard to see a 13, 14, 15, or 16 seed winning a game this year.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I said, it's going chalk, folks.
Going chalk. So we got Loyola, Chicago, and Georgia Tech.
All right, Georgia Tech is another one of the teams that wasn't supposed to be in the tournament.
Yeah.
They won the ACC out of nowhere. They did win one of the games by default because Virginia was disqualified, had to forfeit.
Yeah, had to forfeit.
So I got Loyola Chicago.
I agree. I was already leaning that way. I don't think Georgia Tech has just enough anything to outdo Loyola Chicago. They're a hot team coming in. A lot of teams that don't know about them either. So I think they're going to fly under the radar in that first game pretty easily. And then we got Tennessee and Oregon State.
I'm going Tennessee. Oregon State, they're not good. They're not a good team.
No, they won the Pac-12, and I think that was kind of a upset. I guess there's the only word.
Oh, it was a big upset. I mean, so Oregon State, Georgia Tech, and Georgetown were all bid stealers.
Yeah.
In terms of they were not expected to win their tournaments at all,
right.
And all three of them were able to pull it out. But that doesn't mean that they're a good team.
Agreed.
They showed it throughout the entire course of the season. They're not a good team.
They're not a good team. So yeah, just take Tennessee over Oregon State easily then.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't necessarily trust Tennessee a ton in the tournament overall, but in this game, yeah.
Yeah. Then we got Oklahoma State versus Liberty. I think this one's an easy OK State.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again, you have Cade Cunningham. He's the best player in the nation.
Yeah.
Or at least
a top player in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, okay, he's not going to win the Wooden Award, which is technically his best player in the nation. He's by far the number one pick in the NBA draft this summer.
Most
it's not even
talented.
close. Yeah, for sure. So it's Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State, for sure.
Okay.
I literally almost wrote down Cade Cunningham instead of Oklahoma State.
Cade Cunningham. Okay, so
by himself.
Okay, and then moving on to a couple of last matchups here. We got San Diego State versus Syracuse. This game is interesting. Do you think Jim Boeheim and his Syracuse's defensive, zone that he runs is legendary? Do you think they do enough to upset San Diego?
Nope.
Okay.
And put some respect on his name. It's Boeheim. Say it right.
Man, he can shove it. Oh, with all due respect, I'm just saying that.
Jesus.
No, San Diego State, I think is just too talented. Too talented, and I think Syracuse was another one of those teams that kind of were a sneak in towards the end.
They were, yeah. Syracuse, they weren't expected to. They were on the bubble, as I've said earlier, for years now. They've been on the bubble, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Are you smelling upset for Morehead State over West Virginia?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Disgust.
No. No, West Virginia is definitely take Morehead State. They're a team that could make a dangerous run, I believe.
I agree.
And then Clemson over Rutgers. This is a 7 versus 10 matchup here.
It is, and Rutgers being the 10 seed.
Rutgers is another one of those sneak-ins, barely kind of made it type of teams.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Rutgers pulling this one off. They're in a tough conference in the Big Ten against a lot of really good teams. You have the Big Ten is taking up 2 number 1 seeds, number 2 at Ohio State.
Yeah.
But so they got 3 of the top 8 seeds in this tournament. It's pretty crazy.
True.
So yeah, I don't know if I can believe Rutgers do it, but I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Rutgers won this game.
I want to lean towards Rutgers. I just don't think I don't know enough about Clemson naturally in terms of the basketball program to believe in them. And if Rutgers, even though they snuck in at a lower seed there, I think the amount of tough games they played just puts them in a better position to go beat Clemson. So let's take Rutgers.
All right, we finally got another upset going here.
Yeah, I think it's only our second one so far, but
it is.
I can almost guarantee there will be more.
All right.
And then Houston's obviously going to roll.
Cleveland State.
Cleveland State? Okay. So at this point, it doesn't really matter what team it is because Houston's going to roll.
We're going Houston. All right.
Okay.
We got to work our way back up. We got one more game here that we haven't discussed.
All right, you know.
Or we discussed it, but we bypassed it. Okay.
Yeah, we got to bypass it here. So.
I like Wisconsin in this. He is torn.
I am torn. I'll take Wisconsin.
Okay.
I think even though I like Roy Williams and his stature and what he knows about the tournament, I think at the end of the day the players on Wisconsin are more talented, and I think that's.
It's not like Wisconsin's a stranger to the tournament. They were in the Final Four like 2 years ago.
Yeah, agreed. I think Wisconsin at the end of the day is just more talented.
Wisconsin.
Okay, so let's just stick on this side of the board and finish our second round 2 here.
Moving to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and see our final Sweet 16 matchups. Baylor, Wisconsin. Baylor.
Baylor is one of the top 4 teams in the country. They got the number 2 overall seed. Not that surprising. They're a really good team. The only thing why people might be hesitant on Baylor at the moment is only because they're still recovering from that COVID break.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Baylor is still a better overall team than Wisconsin.
For sure.
That's not a question. So Villanova, Purdue, moving into the next game here. You talked maybe a potential upset with Winthrop over Purdue or over Villanova. Excuse me. We didn't agree that we have enough information to choose that. But I said I don't think Villanova's going very far in the first place. So I'm leaning Purdue on kind of a technical upset over Nova, even though it's really not.
Yeah, and again, I keep coming back to them losing their best player, Gillespie.
Right.
I know they did it with like a game or two left in the tournament right before the conference tournament started. Clearly, they're still trying to figure things out because they did lose early in that. Hopefully, maybe have better rotations down at this point to kind of help counterbalance that. It's hard to lose one of your best players and then make a deep run in the tournament. So yeah, I'm with you. I think that Purdue cuts their time short.
Okay, let's do it. Purdue moving on to the Sweet 16.
I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen Purdue in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, it's been a minute since their name has been decently relevant in the college basketball game.
Which is crazy because, they were powerhouses forever.
For a long time, they were back in the day.
So,
Texas Tech, Arkansas. I lean Texas Tech pretty heavily here.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't. This Arkansas team is amazing.
It's amazing?
I don't know if I say amazing. It's good, though. This Arkansas team is really good. I don't think enough people have seen them play. They are really good. They have... I cannot think of his name right now, but they got this kid who he's a freshman. He comes down and he plays like a pro, pull up threes like it's fucking nothing, butter.
Like it's butter.
Like it's a butter.
Chef Curry out here on the Arkansas team as a rookie, as a freshman.
I wouldn't go that far. Come on. Maybe he's like CJ McCollum.
Okay.
But I like Arkansas a lot.
Okay, let's come back to that. I'm gonna see if I can find some quick research here.
Okay.
To confirm my answer. Let's move on to Virginia Tech, Ohio State.
I like Virginia Tech, but Ohio State, Ohio State's still, they're so damn good.
It's a different caliber of team.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been saying that, Gonzaga as an example. Ohio State's in that boat.
Ohio State's one of the few teams that I think can reach the Final Four in this bracket. I think realistically, in this season, there's really probably only about 5 or maybe 6 teams that I think feasibly can make the Final Four. Mm-hmm. And realistically, it's the 4. I'd say 6. It's the 4 number ones, Ohio State and Alabama. Those are the only teams I really can see getting to the Final Four.
That's 4 1 seeds and 2 number 2 seeds.
Yeah, exactly.
So not much there. So yeah, Ohio State I think definitely rolls here.
For sure.
And then down to the Midwest, Illinois versus Loyola Chicago. I think Illinois is obviously we are very high on them. We're looking at them as a Final Four candidate here.
Yeah.
Loyola Chicago is not the same level of a program in all senses.
It's not. Loyola Chicago, great school. If you can get into that school, do it. That is a great academic school. But that doesn't matter now because we're playing basketball.
On the basketball court, not the same.
Yeah. So we're going Illinois for sure.
Illinois for sure. So then we got Tennessee, Oklahoma State.
This would be a fun matchup, actually.
We both mentioned we're not really sold on Tennessee yet.
Yeah, neither one of us are. And this Oklahoma State team is pretty darn good. Cade Cunningham, they've gotten better as the season on. Obviously, I've talked a lot about Cade Cunningham already.
Yeah.
That is what it is. The biggest thing that I see is that just a couple weeks ago they had Cade Cunningham and their second best player out who I can't remember his name, and they still beat. I think it might have been Texas Tech. I think it was Texas Tech, and they beat them without their 2 best players. It was a very, very impressive win, and it shows how strong this team can be.
Okay. I take Oklahoma State as well. I don't think Tennessee is not sold enough on them to be the caliber of OK State right now. And we got San Diego, West Virginia. That's gonna be a good matchup.
I like West Virginia a lot, actually. I like West Virginia. I actually like West Virginia meeting Illinois in the Elite Eight. I like them over Houston. I like them over San Diego State too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take West Virginia. If San Diego State was facing anybody else, I think I would take San Diego State to push into this Sweet 16. I think they're a team based on matchup, could be a potential upsetter, bracket buster. But West Virginia is not a great matchup for them.
Okay. Yeah, I got West Virginia also, so we're sticking that way.
Yeah, and while we're here, let's jump and guarantee Houston's gonna roll over Rutgers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an easy choice for us here. Okay, so that solidifies Sweet 16 on the.
Oh, we got one more up here.
Damn, Texas Tech, Arkansas.
We got to brawl over the Texas Tech Arkansas game. Like I said, I really like Texas Tech. Unless you can give me a reason you're going to take Texas, or I like Arkansas. I'm sorry, Jesus. I like Arkansas really a lot over Texas Tech. But if you give me a good argument on why you take Texas Tech over Arkansas, other than the fact that you don't know crap about Arkansas.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Texas Tech either off the top of my head, so I guess I'll just go with the feeling here. Take Arkansas.
Stuck on a feeling.
Oh God, Tyler. Too much. All right, so let's jump on to the west and east side of the bracket and get our Sweet 16 matchups.
Walking across.
Make it as even as possible here. So Gonzaga, Oklahoma.
It's Gonzaga.
It's Gonzaga. It might be an interesting game, but two different types of teams, and Gonzaga is.
I don't think it'll be that interesting, honestly. I think Gonzaga.
Really?
I think Gonzaga wins that game by 15 or 20.
Okay. I guess that is their average margin to win this year. It's 35, so. That's a joke. It's not that high, but yeah, I was already leading Zags. I'm not going to discount them anywhere close to the second round.
Creighton, Virginia. Interesting game. Creighton, again, they score buckets.
Yeah.
They score a lot of points. Virginia is known as a defensive team.
I think Creighton. I take Creighton.
I do too. And I mean, obviously, we have this hanging over the head of Virginia is this COVID. If they're even going to be in the tournament.
Yeah, you don't know. I don't want to bet on them at all, but at the end of the day, Creighton, their offense is so high volume.
Yeah.
I don't think Virginia can keep up on the scoring points of it.
All right, so we're both on Creighton. Man, I just noticed that in both these first two, I put some random ass H in Creighton's name up at the beginning. I know there's one at the end. It's not CH. I don't know why. I'm just saying Creighton.
Creighton.
But yeah, my bad. Sorry, Creighton. You're
no disrespect. No disrespect, man.
Let me fix that here when you go into the Sweet 16.
There we go. And then we got Wichita State versus Kansas.
Can
Wichita State pull up two back-to-back upsets? I don't know.
I mean, Kansas isn't great this year either. They've gotten better. They've gotten a little better as the season gone on, but I just don't know. I mean, yeah, no. I just can't.
That's too big of a push for me. Wichita State over USC was almost an easy choice. If you're talking just, you're talking an 11 seed over a 3 seed.
Right.
And that not based solely off of seeding, but I mean, they're pretty respectable on why they're seeded that way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I like Kansas.
I like Kansas. Okay, and Oregon, Iowa is the last one for round 2 of the West. I mean, Oregon. I'm not sold on Oregon.
Neither am I.
I feel like in terms of random other people doing this, they might take Oregon as an upsetter for some reason. I have a feeling that might be some people take some chances there. But I'm not. I want Iowa is going to lead the way here.
I mean, I can see people taking VCU over Oregon in the first round. So
yeah.
I agree. Iowa is too good offensively, I think, for Oregon to keep pace.
Yeah, agreed. So Iowa to the Sweet 16. So the West was real easy decisions for us. No arguments really there.
Yeah, I mean, we have the 1, 2. We have the only somewhat semi upset. We have the 1, the 2, the 3, and that's Creighton's a 5 seed.
Yeah.
Over the
Creighton's
4 seed Virginia.
Creighton's been light hot, and they're facing teams that aren't really highly respectable as a 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds.
Right.
So let's move on to the East here. Michigan, LSU.
This could be a fun matchup. I think LSU has been one of those teams that can get hot and play well, but Michigan's really good.
Yeah.
And they're so strong down low. Ross Dickerson is a monster down there.
Right.
So I just don't know. I don't see LSU winning this game. I think it could be a very entertaining game. I think Michigan still pulls it out. But I could also see Michigan blowing out LSU because LSU can be so up and down.
Yeah, I'm not sold on LSU's talent-wise. I think Michigan's going to have a pretty easy go with it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think maybe the first half might be interesting. I think once it was in the second half, Michigan's going to start lighting the floor up, like we've seen pretty much all year. Colorado, Florida State. We both mentioned Colorado as an underrated team right now. They came in as a 5 seed versus 5 seed, correct?
Yeah. Colorado's a 5 seed. Georgetown would be the 4 seed. No, I'm sorry.
Florida State.
I'm stuck on Georgetown all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Florida State is the 4 seed in this case. I think Colorado is slightly underrated, but I don't think that they're as good as Florida State. This Florida State team
Dangerous.
they're sneaky.
Yeah. We've talked about Florida State in past episodes of the show. I mean, way back in the beginning of college basketball started this season. I think Florida State's a dangerous team.
Yeah.
I really do. Colorado is underrated, but I think Florida State's rated exactly where they should be. And I think they're going to take that game. Then we got BYU and Texas. So we're seeing other guys the other analysts on the release show taking Texas to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, Seth Greenberg had Texas in the Final Four, which they have the talent to do that. I think if they can get hot and go on a run, that's if they can get hot and go on a run because they're just one of those teams that when they're not firing on all cylinders, they're just not very good at all.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They're either like I said kind of all in and they're really tough to beat, or they're just ice cold and they have no way of getting around that to get themselves back into a rhythm.
Right. I agree with you. I don't think they have enough momentum going to the game on their side. Like they're a pretty shaky team offensively, back up and down scoring wise. And I think BYU, like Colorado, is extremely underrated.
So are we pulling the upset here?
I want BYU.
All right, I'm okay with that.
And again too, because we're Gonzaga fans, being hometown.
We've had a little more first-hand experience with BYU.
Yeah, watching BYU, even though Gonzaga has obviously won all the games, BYU, we see the talent level that they have against a team like Gonzaga. So I take BYU.
Yeah, I'm cool with that too. So that BYU, that means we got a 6 seed making the Sweet 16, where we got pretty chalky elsewhere.
Yeah, we did. Bama and UConn. I think Bama rolls here. Yeah. Roll Tide, roll.
Roll Tide, roll.
All right, and then we're already on the seed, so let's just get our Elite Eight on this side here.
All right. Like I said, I already got Gonzaga with the turn. I'm taking Gonzaga every way.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be high scoring, just fast-paced type of offense. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, I think Gonzaga can get dirty where Creighton can't.
The thing is, as good as Creighton is offensively, they're not on the same level offensively as Gonzaga is. So, just out of sheer, will, all of a sudden, it'll be a high-scoring game, but it could still end up being, a 105-90 win for Gonzaga.
Right.
Just one of those.
I think it's high scoring, but I think Gonzaga definitely pulls it out.
Sure, for sure.
So Kansas has even though we've talked about they're shaky, they've made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I don't think they have enough to get over Iowa.
Neither do I.
Okay.
Yeah, Iowa. I'm not surprised it went 1-2. This will be fun. Either whoever does win this game, if Kansas or Iowa, it'd be fun because it's a rematch from Gonzaga. Played both of them early in the year.
Yeah.
Beat them both. So it'd be a fun matchup. But I think I agree. I got Iowa going over this.
I think Kansas overplays the expectation of what they came into it by making the Sweet 16 already. But I think it ends there
for sure.
All right, that solidifies our West Elite Eight.
All right,
or half of our west side of Elite Eight, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, let's go. Let's move down here and get to our. Let's move to the east. So we'll cross over here in a minute.
So we got Michigan and Florida State.
I like Florida State, but I don't like Florida State that much. This Michigan team's really, really good. Like I said, I don't know any other way to put it. They came out on top of the regular season in the Big Ten. Which was the best conference in the country this year. Some people say it might be the best conference of all time this season alone with how many good teams they had.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just don't see Florida State being able to keep pace.
Yeah, I agree. I take Michigan as well. I think it's gonna be a good game though. I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. I think Florida State's gonna give them a run for their money. I just don't think their money is gonna pay out enough.
Right.
So I think Michigan and then Bama and BYU. I think Bama still rolls pretty well here.
Yeah. I mean, BYU going this far, but I don't see them being able to overtake Alabama.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Florida State. I think BYU is gonna overplay their expectations coming into the tourney. But they're gonna face a team in Bama that is here to win.
Absolutely. So, the left side of the bracket from the West and the East got real chalky at the end. We went 1-2, 1-2 for the Elite Eight. But again, as I expect, I think that's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see a lot of crazy brackets this year. It seems pretty.
Yeah,
standard.
I think you're going to see all 1s and 2s in the Final Four this year. It's just one of those years, I think.
So, but let's move on to the Midwest and the South region here. Let's figure out Elite Eight here. Baylor and Purdue.
It's Baylor.
It's Baylor. I mean, we take Purdue over Villanova solely because Villanova's best player is out.
Yeah.
But if his best player is in, we're talking Villanova versus Baylor, which is a great start to the matchup. Purdue.
I'd still pick Baylor.
I would still pick Baylor, but it'd be a closer matchup. Purdue doesn't have the star talent to keep up. All right. And then we got Arkansas versus Ohio State. And I'm sick of you talking about Arkansas because Ohio State, I know we're leaning Ohio State.
Yeah, I do like Arkansas. I could see Arkansas pulling this off.
No,
I could. Hold on.
We're not doing that, Tyler.
Get you educated. I need you to get some education going on when you're talking about Arkansas.
Shut up.
All jokes aside, yeah, Arkansas is a really good team, but Ohio State is just they're just the better team.
Yeah.
Love Arkansas, but this is where their right ends.
Okay. Finally, we can take his fanboyism of Arkansas gone.
Man, I'm telling you. Pay attention.
I can't wait until the round 2 Arkansas loses to Texas Tech and I can just shove it in your face.
Watch them lose like Colgate.
Yeah. Damn, Colgate toothpaste burned him, man. All right, and then moving on to the Midwest here. Illinois versus Oklahoma State.
Ooh, this is gonna be a fun game. I like that game a lot, actually.
The reaction. Ooh.
I honestly, I'm just feeling it, and I'm not like looking ahead at all. I was like, oh, I just realized that's the matchup we get. That's a very exciting match. Actually, I like both these matchups. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But I got Illinois. As good as Cade Cunningham can be, he's still a freshman, and Illinois has a lot of seniors, and they're just damn good.
They're just damn good. Yeah, I don't take the upset on Illinois this time.
Yeah.
So we're going to move Illinois over to the Elite Eight here. Our last Elite Eight spot in the Midwest here, West Virginia versus Houston. I lead West Virginia on this upset.
So do I. So Houston is a good team, but they've had some pretty large letdowns at some point this year. And I'm going to take Bob Huggins pushing this team into the Elite Eight.
Yeah, West Virginia and just the physicality level, I think when you're playing those multiple games back to back, I think Houston's going to get soft, and they're going to get bullied around, and West Virginia's going to take it.
Absolutely. So, all right, that's our Elite Eight.
So, yeah, Elite Eight here. So we got 1-2, 1-2.
1-2, and 1-3.
1-3. Woo! We changed it a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to get chalky this year. I mean, I guess if I'm going to take any seed outside the top 2 to maybe get there, it would probably be Oklahoma State as a 4 seed. But that's about as far as I can go.
Yeah.
You're not going to get some like 8, 9, 11 seed or 13 seed. Going on a run into the Final Four. We've seen George Mason and VCU do in the past. We just don't have one of those teams this year.
Yeah, agreed. So let's start on Elite Eight up here on the west side of the bracket.
Yep.
We got number 1 Gonzaga versus number 2 Iowa.
Okay, so we're going over there.
I did say west side.
Yeah, I did. I was on this side, so.
Stupid little jogger around here.
Yep. All right, so Gonzaga, Iowa.
Again, this is a rematch. They played earlier this year.
Yep.
My issue with Iowa here, I mean, we're talking Gonzaga to the championship here, right?
Yeah. As
what we were mentioning, my issue with Iowa and the reason why I'm taking Gonzaga is Gonzaga's fast-paced ability. Their fast break points is the best in the nation. It has been dominantly this season as well.
Yep.
They're just so fast. Iowa, I mean, traditionally as a school program sports, they're a bigger, stronger, more traditional type of playing teams. in all sports, and that translates to basketball as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Iowa does have a great inside-out game because you have Luka Garza who can go down there and dominate, and they have a ton of three-point shooters around him. But, I mean, Gonzaga took this game pretty handily at the beginning of the year, and Iowa's fallen a little bit because they lost one of their shooters. He's back now, but he's still, getting back 100%.
Right.
Could be by this point. You're talking about, another 3 games in. But, I mean, again, we got Gonzaga in the championship. I got Gonzaga winning the whole damn thing. I think Gonzaga's the best team. I think they take it from Iowa again.
Yeah, I think they do. I think fast break points is going to kill Iowa. I think the Zags are just too fast. Too fast. I don't think they keep up.
Too fast.
Too furious. Shut up. This is ridiculous. This is what happens when you get two brothers to talk for an hour straight with each other. You get stupid jokes.
You get shenanigans.
All right, and then on the east side of the bracket here, Michigan versus Bama.
So that's an interesting one. It's a very different style. I mean, Michigan likes to play through the big, and Ross Dickerson, where Alabama likes to play through the guards, and they're very outside shooting. So it's kind of a polar opposite in terms of like their offensive styles. It's interesting. It's a very interesting matchup. Michigan, I think, takes it though because Michigan has the much better defensive team than Alabama, and that's what's going to end up hurting Alabama in the long run is that they don't defend that great for a top 8 team.
Right. That's a tough one. That's a toughie for me. I mean, I love both teams, and the thing is, if Michigan runs majority of the offense through the big man down low, Bama is mostly a 3-point shooting offense.
Trading 2s for 3s kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, all it takes is for one Bama player to get hot, or 2 of them hit 8 threes in a game, which is not unimaginable by any means stretch. And all you have to do is double up down low and play half-ass defense better than you have been. The other point, I mean, you take out your lead guard, their lead offense, and you can shoot well. Bama could smoke Michigan if those 2 factors happen.
They could. I mean, that seems to be, playing with fire there though. Yeah. That's playing like the pretty big what if game.
True, but even if you don't do the what-if game, even if you don't lock down Michigan's big man and that you go score for score, you're trading twos for 3s.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think Michigan's just the better team. I mean, they are one of 3 teams that are in the top 10 of Ken Palm rankings on both the offensive and defensive side, joining Gonzaga and Baylor. It's hard for me to go against that for Alabama.
We'll have to flip a coin on that one because I want Bama.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, we don't have enough
coins.
We don't have enough stats around here or something to.
All right,
let's use stats as our side here.
All right, let's side table that for now. Let's move over. These other 2 games on the other side back here. These are both gonna be good games. Baylor, Ohio State should be fun. Actually, shows Illinois, West Virginia. But I think Baylor at this point will be back in full form.
Yeah.
I think Baylor is going to win that game.
To say Baylor over Ohio State?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Baylor's is the more consistent team. Right. At the end of the day, I think Ohio State's a great star-studded talent-wise, but Baylor I think has been more consistent with that talent all season long. And if they can run through some games here, I think I'll take Baylor.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be none of these games at this point, at least the Elite Eight, are going to be really easy matchups. All these games are going to be tough, I think, for all teams here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes you see an Elite Eight matchup, you're like, man, that guy got an easy round, next guy got a really hard round, and somebody smoked somebody in the Elite Eight. I don't think either. I think all of these 4 Elite Eight games are going to be star-studded to get battle it out.
Oh yeah. These should be fun games. Except for maybe that one. Honestly, I think Gonzaga actually beats Iowa pretty handily.
That might be the easiest one to call.
I think Gonzaga is going to run through this tournament pretty easily until you get to the Final Four. In the Final Four national games, they'll be tough, hard games. But I think up until that point, they're gonna win for hand. I mean, honestly, just looking, Gonzaga out of the 3 or 4 number 1 teams, they got the easiest road. For sure.
Road.
I mean, Oklahoma, Missouri, whatever. I mean, Creighton's not like they're good offensively, but they're not a good defensive team.
Yeah.
We already beat. One of only 3 teams are in the top 10 of Ken Palm's ranking on offense and defense.
That doesn't sell me. That does not.
It doesn't sell you?
No, it doesn't sell me because. That helps through the regular season. But you're trying to make a run through teams, and Bama is a team that you don't just run through.
All right, fine. I'll give you Bama because you gave me Arkansas.
Okay.
But I'm gonna make sure to point it out when it changes.
Okay. I'm sure I'll be doing the same to you.
All right, I'll give you Bama on our consensus, but I disagree.
All right. We both took one for the team here.
And actually, if this is the way it plays out, I think this is an easier game for Gonzaga than Michigan would have.
I do agree that I think Gonzaga. We're jumping to the Final Four. I think Gonzaga rolls Bama though.
Yeah.
I think they do roll Bama, but I think Bama just does enough to get past Michigan.
Okay.
Oddly enough, I'll fight for Bama, but they're going to face that Zags team and just get rolled on, I believe.
All right, Baylor, Illinois. This should be a really fun matchup.
Should be a really fun matchup.
I'm personally leaning Illinois because Baylor has no one down low to deal with Kofi Coburn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Illinois is a big, strong team, and Baylor is not built that way.
Yeah, they're just a bit on the smaller side, and they're great defensively. Vital, who basically is their center, but he's only like a 6'8" center.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I mean, even if you're in college, it doesn't work anywhere. You need a big man in the block to block the paint, not only for rebound and shot blocking, but just to fill up that space. Yeah. You need a guy that will make sure those guards at Illinois don't get down low and make easy layups or easy passes out. And Baylor doesn't have a guy to do that, to block up that lane.
So we're going Illinois?
I go Illinois.
So that means that we are agreeing with CBS Sports' own Seth Greenberg.
Freaking sellouts.
Seth and Clark both took Gonzaga, Illinois. Yeah. We are also...
We're sellouts. If only CBS was paying us for this.
Maybe next year.
So, okay, national championship. Gonzaga, Illinois, both Seth and Clark, excuse me.
Frank Clark. Don't say Frank. It's the wrong sport.
Wrong sport, sorry. Both Seth and Clark had Gonzaga and Illinois in the game as well. They both picked
Gonzaga. I already told you I'm picking Gonzaga to win anyways. You with me?
Yeah.
Call us a homer if you want, but we'll be laughing when we win. Damn you.
Zags all around are just. I mean, I'm thinking scoring wise, defensively wise. Oh goodness.
You know how excited I am for this?
I guess, yeah, we are homers here.
I'm going to turn fanboy real fast. The second Gonzaga wins the championship, this town in Spokane is going to blow up.
Oh, it's going to be on fire.
Not literally, but figuratively, people are going to go crazy.
Yeah, no, they're going to go crazy. I mean, just a couple years ago, we were in the championship game against UNC.
Yeah.
The town was crazy then, and we lost.
We lost, and the town after that game was crazy.
Even then, the lead of all week long, you saw nothing. It was nothing but Gonzaga talk, Gonzaga posters, everything, everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It was insane.
So that's us. Got the hometown boys taking it home finally this year.
Yeah.
And then get everyone off of Gonzaga's back about not being able to win the whole thing.
Exactly, and Mark Few gets his championship that he's been winning for 2 decades.
Yeah.
One of the most winning coaches in history.
But as you said, this team is just on another level than any. This has gone Mark Few's best team. And it's because of Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
This kid is so good. He's so dynamic. It really just pushed this team to another level.
Yeah.
We have you have the senior leader in Corey Kispert, who's also might be the best shooter in NCAA this year. You have a dominant scorer down low in Drew Timme.
Yeah.
They lose some size on the defensive side of the ball in terms of being down in the post, but they score so well.
Yeah.
When Timmy's on, he hits everything. There's a game when he's on, he'll go and one. And he drops, and then you have Jalen Suggs, who is great at facilitating the offense.
Yeah.
He took over in the second half of the BYU game in the WCC championship. Absolutely put the team on his back. Came down, started drilling pull-up threes.
Yeah.
And then as their fourth guy is Joel Ayayi, who's an NBA prospect, and he's the fourth guard, who's leading the team in rebounds at 7 boards a game. Yeah. Against Iowa early in the year, he had 18 rebounds. He's a 2-guard.
He's a 2-guard. It's insane. You're reading Suggs and Kispert on the front court here, front court,
back court.
Sorry, back court.
Big man on your front court.
There you go. That's right. Sorry, excuse me. And then you have Ayayi as your third role player. You forget about him. You forget he is a stud. He is talented as hell. He's a freshman.
Suggs is the freshman. Ayayi's not. Ayayi's a junior.
Oh. Well,
yeah,
again,
that's right. But I mean, you put a Yai on almost any other team in the nation, he's going to lead that team in scoring. He's that good of a player.
Yeah.
It's Gonzaga he's not doing that on. And you do the same thing with Nemhard, who has one of the best dribbles in college basketball. This dude he's very similar to like a Kyrie and a Steph Curry in terms of his handles. The ball's on a rope. It never like gets away from him.
Right.
It's pretty impressive to watch. And as we've said since this entire episode's been going, Gonzaga's just the best team in the country.
Yeah.
And you know, sure teams go on runs, but it just seems like Gonzaga, this is the year for them to do it.
Yeah, agreed. So that is our consensus bracket. As we wrap this up again, let's remind ESPN Tournament Challenge, the app. We are on there, Herrbys Sports Talk, as a group. If you want to go there and compete against us and see what you can do versus our individual bracket and our consensus bracket, the winner, you know, that's based on point system, not if you pick Gonzaga to win or if you get the championship winner.
Right.
It's based on overall wins
Throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, so it's all point based. The person who wins the tournament based on the highest points will be come up with something cool to do with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't already, make sure you subscribe to our social media accounts on Twitter and Instagram for sure. It's what we're most active on at Herrbys Sports Talk, especially if you do join the bracket, because if you do win, we needed some way of getting a hold of you if we don't know you personally already.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to get a hold of you through social media so we can set you up. You know, we're going to set up some kind of prize. And depending on who wins, depending on if they're local or not, is going to kind of determine how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the prize is for sure yet, but there will be something for you.
Yeah.
And we want to make it pretty special. This is our first year doing this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, realistically, we've only been doing this podcast since August, really September, because we took a couple weeks off after the first episode we aired. So we've only been doing this for a few months, and you know, we're still trying to build a kind of a community that we like to talk to and stuff. So we would love to be able to get in touch with you guys as quickly as possible, have these interactions with you. We would love to be able to talk to you about any topic you want to when it comes to sports. I'm sure that you guys have similar thoughts or differing thoughts than we do. Just like how we can debate. We'd love to debate with you too.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I mean, this is all just for the benefit of the sports world at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether it's us arguing against each other or agreeing, or you know, same thing with anybody who's watching and listening and who loves sports. That's at the end of the day, that's all it's about, is just sports.
Absolutely. So, please follow us on Herrbys Sports Talk on all the social medias.
Yeah.
Join Herrbys Sports Talk group on the ESPN Tournament Challenge for us. Let me give you a quick kind of close-up of this consensus bracket. You will be able to see it also on the ESPN Tournament Challenge. We'll update that. So here, as we kind of zoom in, kind of give you a breakdown of each quadrant here.
That is the east side of the bracket there, the bottom.
We'll move up here to the south, and then down into the Midwest. So, all right, guys, thank you.
Thank you guys for watching and listening. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on it through iTunes or Spotify, make sure, again, if you're playing the tournament challenge against us, make sure you have some form of contact with us through social media. And besides that, we'll keep this whole bracket updated as we go on through the tournament, and we'll keep things rolling here.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.